Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a bit more Oxygen Not Included. I'm very happy that you guys received it fairly well. It was voted for to be covered a bit more because, like I said, I feel that this fits the general tenor and flavour of our channel. Now, where were we? Well, we've got our little sub-basement. It's like, you show me any of my half-built bases and I can tell you what's going on because my idiosyncratic brain builds them all similarly. So, oh, we've got a new duplicate. And we've got 4 so far. You know what? Let's get him. You gotta be careful getting too many dudes early. And like, it's almost a trap. If you just constantly buy him like I'm doing, you can get into all sorts of trouble. Oxyfern seed. Hang on. Now, I don't think that these things are, what's the term? Is it indigenous? Endemic? I'm not sure. But I don't think these things that naturally occur on this type of asteroid. There are different types of asteroids. Like, for example, I'm pretty certain you can't grow like trees that can be harvested for wood. Like, that sort of seed doesn't exist. And I don't think the oxyfern exists in this biome, in this entire world. Which is, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna grab it because I'm not super familiar with it, but presumably it generates oxygen. Let's click on it. Seed of an oxyfern plant. Grown from oxyfern seed. Absorbs carbon dioxide, exudes breathable oxygen. That sounds pretty bloody rad. And the thing is, once you plant one of these things, they'll potentially drop more and more seeds. Ooh. Ooh-wee. Alright, let's turn this bloody thing off for starters. Because we've got enough food. That's big. Big if true. So what we might actually do, I know we're going down the power route, but now we've got to... That thing better not eat my friggin' seed, I'll tell you what. I have concerns. Hang on. Let's just P9 that sweep. There we go. So people will sweep that up really quick, because that thing just eats random stuff and... Yeah, there we go, put it in the box. Alright, good. Good. A little bit out of my my comfort area there. Okay, cool. Anyway, so look, I want to plant that as soon as possible. So we're going to go up to the research tree, and we're going to go here. And while you can plant in this box, what I really want is this one. It's a tile, not so much a box. So, see, like these things, they place on the floor. That's the first type of plant. But generally speaking, at least with the ones I tend to grow, they're 2 height. So you need the box plus 2. But if I make a tile, I can actually put plants in my Jeffries tubes. Geez, look, without context and understanding what I'm talking about, that would sound really strange. But hopefully you get what I'm getting at. Okay, cool. So we're going to basically full speed ahead that research. It's EKO, everyone's knocked off. We need to run power to that. We should have some coal. We've got a couple of these little blokes, these hatches running around. And going down the food tree is actually going to be a big deal anyway, because, like I said before, you can click on these and you can task someone to wrangle them, and they'll tie them up for transport. But the problem is that the technology to drop them off somewhere else at a specific drop-off point is a building that we need to get. Okay, we also need to get some algae. That will very quickly become a problem if we don't keep that topped up. Oh, there's a little bit there. We'll just cue that to be dug. See, it's doing research the way we are set up now is very tricky, because we don't have a lot of power source, and we can essentially have 2 dudes dedicated to that and 2 dudes stuck on the hamster wheel. Now, the coal is going to be a big relief. Yeah, that's good. Look at that, it's charging the battery. Oh my goodness, yes. So he's helping. We could potentially mess with the sliders and settings for the threshold. I'm not that worried. I'm not really that worried at all. Cool, yeah, look, so you can see what I mean, like, our battery is just not going to get built while that research is going, but I want that research ASAP, because I want to put that seed in the ground. Now that tiny little bit of algae wasn't enough. And I'm ultra reluctant to open up this cavity if I can help it. What we might actually do... Actually, is there wires running in this wall? No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll do something like this. We'll go into here. That'll do. Something that you need to sort of consider, for those curious about this game, aren't familiar and that, one of the things that will escape you, you'll be focused in on all these cool little concepts and that, which is awesome. But this, heat death is actually a very real problem, and I think that kills most colonies first. And realistically, the best way to do it, there's a plant in this game in the cold biome that sucks in hot air and poos out cold air. I know it's sci-fi, it's weird, but it's just one... You treat it as a system in this game because that's all it is. And getting that as soon as possible is great, because I've discussed this many times. Until you hit the vacuum of space up the top, which I've never actually done, but I played this a lot before that existed. There was no way to destroy things. Everything is conserved. It's a very closed system, which means, how do you get rid of heat? You can only really convert it and shift it around. So heat death was always an inevitable thing. But essentially, those plants destroy heat. They're sort of a bit of an exception to the rule. A lot of the machines and that, when you convert through them, they generate heat, moving it around. And yeah, I muse about the idea of, you know, trying to get your heat into like a superheated solid or something, or a gas, and just blasting it into space, because you have like geysers that are potentially generating heat infinitely. So you actually do need a cooling system. It's really important in this game. And it's such a trap. Okay, cool. Anyway, look, we've finished that research. We've now got farm tiles. What we'll actually do, let's just do this. Because growing meal will be the first step towards taking a lot of pressure off using this machine here. And we don't want to use that because that takes a lot of labor. It puts a lot of strain on our power network. All right, cool. Here we go. Let's see. Oxyfern seed, carbon dioxide, air pressure, dirt, water, farm plot. Okay, that looks, yeah, perfect. And then the other ones we'll just put mealwood seeds in. Now, it's a bit of an investment. It takes a while for it to grow through cycles. But I'm presuming that this fern thing generates seeds somehow. Which will be interesting because, like, you harvest these, and when you harvest them, they have a chance to drop seeds. But I don't believe you will ever harvest this fern. It's just going to perpetually draw in oxygen. Actually, now that I think about it, it draws in the CO2 and spits... Yeah, okay, so it would make a lot more sense to put it down here somewhere. We haven't really built out this bottom area very much. Again, I'm sort of making a lot of this up as I go. Let's just do that. I know it's a little unconventional. We'll cancel that before that happens. And you've got all sorts of things you can grow. Right, bristle blossoms might be the next thing. There's the wart seed. That's what we want for the oxygen. And so the cooking in this, presumably, I haven't really gotten into the end game too much. You know, I love to make my projects and get bogged down in them, but hey, everyone plays games differently. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, you really have to keep morale up, and I think a big part of that is cooking them kind of sexy meals, and from that you need a lot of produce. So there's actually a pretty significant crafting sort of component. It's not even a mini game, like it's a big part of how this game works. Yeah, so she's just gonna work that machine non-stop as long as we have a food shortage. Actually, that food research probably nice. We will move this ration box because that shits me. This will help correct our pathing, right? So we're gonna go food ration block and put it there, and then we can seal this room in. And now they won't path through the kitchen anymore. But I've queued up quite a lot of work, and that's a trap in and of itself. You just got to be careful you don't give them too much stuff to do. Especially, like, you can change priority and all that, but the more crap that you queue up, the sort of less control you have about what's going on in your base. Alright, there we go. So we'll just put that on all food, and 9. Alright, we should be able to turn that machine off. There we go. We've gone through the coal already. That was quick, actually. I guess maybe charging that second battery might have taken its toll. Now this is a little bit of a trap, this fern that we're going to place here, right? Because presumably it needs water, requires dirt for basic growth. Even if you can get irrigated tiles, you can run pipes through them, so that would not require manhandling for the water, but you would still need to deliver the dirt as a fertilizer. You know, and obviously we don't want our guys going into this sub-basement if we can help it. But we want this thing saturated in CO2. Okay, cool. Alright, everything's coming up Millhouse so far. So what do we want to do now? Like, there are so many different directions that we can go in here. I like the idea, because our power grid is okay for the moment. I actually enjoy the idea of maybe getting around wrangling these hatches so that we can make... You know what, we need to put that on priority 9 as well, because I can see coal on the ground there. That they're just not loading into the... They're just not loading into this machine. Oh, okay, like when the batteries drop below 50%, they'll load it? Is that... Yeah, that's the idea. Fuel request threshold. And the total charge of the connected batteries falls below 50%. I guess... Yeah, like, you wouldn't want waste, so it can't be at 100%. But I kind of want the hamps... I don't, like, if they're both on 50%, that means they're both going to trigger at the same time. What if we actually do mess with these and make it 25%? Did that actually save? No, that went to 0. Right, so the hope is that they'll put coal in the thing to charge the batteries before they jump on them. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I haven't really thought about it too much. Anyway, research. What I'm thinking, yeah, is we go... Oh, wrangling's just the next one up, but we need advanced research. And in order to do that, you actually need a new machine, which is down here. It unlocks that, so we'll do that. So we're going to go on a bit of a research craze again. See how slow she's moving? She's probably got a sore back from sleeping. There you go, sore back, right? Slept on the floor, would like a bed. So, I mean... I guess it's in the best interest of this gulag that I'm running to give these guys something to sleep on. So they work better and harder and more efficiently. Those batteries are holding their own fairly well. They'll be generating heat as... Yeah. There we go, so the coal's gone in. Let's see if that, power available, 21... 22. So there you go, the generator is actually outcharging essentially our current draw on the grid. So that's good. So with this current setup, they'll load coal, that'll fill up there. Potentially, I mean, you don't want to waste the coal if you can help it, but we don't need to be too optimized on it, because hypothetically we'll have a big old room of dudes that are just perpetually pooing out coal. Now that's obviously not an end, that's like another tier of power production, but the bottleneck is on the coal production in that they have to eat something. They even have to eat dirt or whatever, and dirt, while there's a lot of it, is finite as well. But that's super, like, let's worry about that later. If we were running out of stuff to feed the hatches, that's probably the least of our problem in our base. But it's a consideration. You can find, like, natural gas geysers and that sort of stuff, so you can use them for perpetual energy as well. Lots of different systems. Okay, cool. So does that mean we've unlocked the research station? Yeah, good. What we'll do then, we might even excavate up here and clean it up because it'll be better for our our O2 flow is definitely suffering. So we need to rejig the base a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll put the new research station, the supercomputer, in here. I wonder whose channel I watch. And we go like that. Yeah. We'll get that. We'll get the ball rolling there. We're gonna have to open up. I'll queue up the next research anyway, because they can at least do the basic research. You can see there's 2 bars underneath it, right? And one's for advanced and one's for normal. And what we actually want is this, the critter drop-off. That's the main thing. A critter feeder is pretty important as well. And grooming them and looking and keeping them nice and pretty. Like, you give them a scrub and put a little bow on them, and then they're very cute little teethy boys. Yeah, alright, I'll take a new person, unless you're gonna give me an oxyfern. A pipsqueak. I mean, I'm not ready for them. I'm not really sure what you do with them, but I do know that they go through walls. They just burrow through, like, hard concrete walls, which is weird. Cannot do building, cannot do digging. Oh my god, you guys are shit. Maybe I will take the pipsqueak. I'll take you, you'll do. Alright. But again, we're gonna have to start sealing everything up. What was that noise? Food shortage. Ah, bugger, I zoned out there. Well, you know, I had a million other things to look at. Yes, it's popping out a little bit, and that will just filter up. But you can see, look, we've got a problem here. Like, we've got a CO2 drain there that's not connecting up. How are we going to deal with that for the time being? What I have done in the past, what I will do, is we won't necessarily just use this pump straight in. We'll have a reservoir of water with an actual electric pump in the sub-basement, so there's no reason to touch it. And it will pump up into a water drawing room. Interestingly, because of the water level, actually, we should be able to just drill that wall out, actually. It doesn't necessarily have to be for foot traffic just yet, but it will help a lot of our airflow problems. Okay, we're doing alright. It's just saying missing research station because we can't do the advanced yet. But once they finish the novice, they'll just stop using that machine. So yeah, we're putting a lot of draw on the batteries. Oh no, look, it's still charging. The coal's managing to hold off. Well, we've only got one researcher really. Yeah, I'd be curious. Watch this. Like, you can see it happening. Yeah, that's a good start. It's a good start. But yeah, you see, you gotta be careful with your labor force. I've given them a lot of stuff to do. We're okay, but everyone is just flat stick now, doing something. Which I suppose is where you want to be. But yeah, going scouting and looking for geysers, we want to work that into our routine shortly, but then there's always something to do. Yeah, look at that airflow already. It's changing everything. But yeah, we want to get an airflow Jeffries tube above here as well, just to create a better circulation. Nice. That plant. You can't build over plants. You have to dig them up first, so they can be a little bit of an embuggerance. Oh, well, we're good for food now. So you can see, like, our coal's pumping away and our batteries are pretty much holding steady. So we could introduce a larger battery bank, which would conserve more of that coal power. Like, presumably it's essentially generating at a loss. You know what I mean? Or we're using probably 10% of it or something like that. Tops the batteries up, keeps the grid going. We don't really have much machinery going, just the air generators. So I guess, yeah, building a bigger battery bank would be a good way to sort of shore the grid up a little bit more, but that would also generate a lot more heat. And I'm not really in a hurry to do that. Can't really overstate how if you don't have a plan to deal with heat, then heat generation can be a big problem. And now you're starting to see the mirror, the symmetry coming up. Again, get back on the food. You can see why farming is such a big deal. We have gotten a blossom seed. They need light, if I recall. Oh, there we go, we're harvesting. We might get a seed out of that. Maybe not. Nah, that's alright. Yeah, so different plants require different requirements to look after, but at the moment, our guys just get slops. And mealwood, meal lice or whatever it is. It's the lice that grow on this tree that they eat. Ugh. And then we've got polluted dirt, which we need to turn into fertilizer. I haven't really been dealing with that. If we check the infections tab, you can see what I was talking about there. The crates get infected so easily. So we might end up making a dedicated, like, storage room. But that way we can sort of wash dudes' hands before they go through. Help reduce it. But, like, you can see it popping out. You can even inspect it. Polluted dirt. So what we need is composting. But one thing at a time, you know? Alright, so we've got this now unlocked, but we need a researcher, so we're actually going to have to spend some duplicate skills. Which I'm holding off on. The morale system in this is phenomenal. I think it's so clever. You can see they get a default 2 morale. Oh wait, they get 1 for being a duplicate. And because I haven't messed with their shifts, it looks like they're getting an extra 1. Using the toilets helped. But having the bad food has offset it, so they come out with a net 2. But if you go and give them an upgrade point, it gives them a red point, right? But they also get a green point if you give them one that they love. So if we can find someone, there we go, there's someone that loves researching. Rowan and Bubbles. You know what, we'll give it to Rowan just because his morale's struggling. Oh, that's probably not a good justification actually. Let's give it to Bubbles. And you know what, we'll even give you a fancy hat for it too. So Bubbles is going to run down to this machine and pomp on her new hat and get her upgrade, and she's wrapped. Look at that. And now she looks like bloody Doc from Back to the Future. But she can now use that machine. But she now has a slightly higher morale requirement, but it's offset the way that we're working. The early days, it's okay. I guess I could just put all those points into all different dudes now. I'm not that worried. Everything's going along pretty well. But it makes them, you know, dig faster, work faster. I'm not stressed. Now, do we have airflow tiles? We don't. Because I've been playing with the idea, so we're going to have these like 4 squares, right? And if we put airflow tiles so they can flow between them, that might be the See, look at that. Just having a bunch of dudes in that room for just a short while, it immediately just starts draining oxygen out at record speed. So I think having a bit more circulation would be a big help. Yeah, look at that. And they're all going to sleep in there, so they're all going to sort of partially suffocate. We will get to a point where I'm actually pumping the air through the systems, but at the moment, you know, the more sort of just natural flow that we can facilitate, generally it's just going to go better for us. Toilet's on 9. Okay, cool. So he's unclogging the toilet. And you can get plumbed toilets and all that as well. For the moment, we're just going to have to manhandle them. Look at that. We're okay for food, so we can turn that off. Look how unimpressed old Joshua is. He's hating it. Anyway, look, that's where we're at, team. Lots of moving parts, lots of things to do. You know, like if you do like spinning plate simulators and the stress of trying to just deal with everything at once, then, you know, this is for you. That's why I love this. But we will get into a point where we're going to have to come up with more complex cooling and circulation systems and tapping into, like we said, like water and geysers that generate infinite water, infinite, say, gas that can be turned into other things. And yeah, and there's a whole bunch of endgame tech that I haven't even looked at, building rocket ships, leaving the asteroid. But again, I love this game. I'm glad people have resonated with it and are enjoying it, and I hope to see more of it on the channel. Let me know what you reckon. Otherwise, we might just leave it there for the time being, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.